It's finally happening. As following months of no Toronto Blue Jays baseball, spring training has officially begun. Players are reporting, and this is the beginning of what's hopefully going to be a very important year for the Blue Jays. But we have some major updates surrounding Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bichette, Dalton Varsho's injury, a ton of things to go over today. But most importantly, we have a little tidbit from John Schneider on Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s contract status. We're going to break that down and discuss what this means going forward. But before we get into all that, ladies and gentlemen, a quick reminder, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. And this is going to be the place to be for the latest news all season long. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're very close to 16,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for continued support. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot to go over today. And this is the beginning of what's going to be hopefully a very good season for the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, obviously, they're coming off a 74-win year. Expectations were pretty low, and expectations are probably pretty low for a lot of fans this year. But spring training has begun. Baseball is back, and whether or not you think the team is going to play well, at this moment, we get to watch some baseball. We also have an interesting tidbit on Max Scherzer as well. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start with the big hitter here. And John Schneider gave a little bit of a tidbit on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Apparently, Ross Atkins is also going to speak out later today. So, assuming that happens, we will keep you up to date, and I'll make a video here on that regarding what it means for the comments and then things he has. But he says, we all want Vlad to be here. Ross has said that, and I've said that. You just keep working towards it, and hopefully it happens. But our conversations have been really about this year and how we can get better. So, this makes sense. Now, of course, John Schneider is not necessarily the person to ask for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. updates. However, he is very involved in the process from start to finish. He was involved in the process for, Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto, Roki Sasaki, all these different guys. So you have to assume he's pretty involved in the front office's conversations with Vladdy. Basically, he says what we mostly know, but a little bit of an interesting thing here. So again, he said, we want Vlad to be here. Ross has said that, and I've said that. So maybe some encouraging stuff there. But at the end, the conversations have been about this year and how we can get better. So hedging the bets a little bit just in case he perhaps doesn't sign. Let me know down below, as we are now just 5 days away from his decision, whether or not A, you think Vlad is going to extend, and B, how you're feeling on a confidence level from, A or F to A regarding this team, or from 0 to 100. But we have a bunch of other updates to go over, and we'll touch back on Vladdy here in a minute. But I want to start with this. This just dropped as well. We're seeing Bichette with Joey Loperfido in the cage, and I love seeing these. Shout out to Keegan Matheson. He is the guy all, spring training long for some tidbits of inside stuff, because he's obviously at the complex there in Florida and Dunedin. But what we're seeing now is Bichette and Joey Loperfido. Now, Joey Loperfido is going to be playing a huge part in, I assume he's going to be potentially a starting center fielder, depending how Miles Straw is this year. And he's going to play a big part. He has a chance to be a breakout player. And surrounding Bichette, it looks like he is also 100% healthy as well. You can see this here: Alejandro Kirk, Zach Pop, and Kevin Gosse. Let's dive into the starting pitchers a little bit. There's a lot of different moving pieces. We're going to be all over the place a little bit here, but Kirk, Pop, and Kevin Gosse are on the best shape of their life. Watch, John Schneider said. Kevin Gosse looks sturdier. Bowden Francis went blonde. It is very, very exciting. We're at the point now we get to, overanalyze. We get to look into spring training. It's an exciting time. And whether or not you think the Jays are going to be a great team this year, I think they're going to be a solid team. We get to watch, and we finally have baseball back. Now, a few different things, and I'm going to touch back here on Bichette. Now, John Schneider came out and said that Eric Swanson, just to give you a bit of an overview, Eric Swanson is dealing with some shoulder fatigue. He might be backtracked a little bit, but should be good for opening day. Bichette, as you can see here, is 100% healthy, is going to be a full go for opening day, which is massive news, because we now get to see Bichette in having a full, healthy season, of course, a year before his contract. And his future in Toronto right now is very murky. But if he can help this team and help propel them to potentially a playoff spot, that's, of course, going to be absolutely crucial for this team. But again, Bichette is healthy. He is going to be available all the way through. He is a 100% go, so that's huge. Eric Swanson, on the other hand, a little bit up and down. Again, surrounding some of the other players, I mean, it's great to see Kevin Gosse being sturdier on the best shape of his life. He's coming off of a down year. He's starting to go on the wrong side of 30 now, so as he continues to age, you're going to hope that he can continue to play good baseball, specifically this season. This is going to be a critical season for him. Regarding Alejandro Kirk, obviously we know him being in shape is going to be crucial, because in previous years, of course, you had Danny Jansen being able to kind of platoon with Alejandro Kirk. They were able to split time. Kirk wasn't going to be in an everyday role. Right now, they don't even have a backup catcher. I mean, Tyler Heineman / Christian Bethancourt, they're going to battle it out in spring training. So Alejandro Kirk is going to be playing 120, 130 games. We know he had a pretty, rough spring training the past couple of years. One of them, I believe it was last year, the year before, he missed a bunch of spring training time. I believe it was the year before last. So now that he gets to come back, Alejandro Kirk being 100% healthy, lock in, be in the best shape of his life is going to be crucial, because he's going to have to be in great shape if he wants to play 120, 130 30 games. And if he can get back to his 2022 self, putting up a 4-5 WAR, that's what elevates this team. That's what's going to propel this team from a 84-win team to a wild card team, is going to be bounce backs. And we heard this last year, Ross Atkins saying they're relying on a bunch of bounce backs, and it just didn't work. Maybe this year we can hope for that a little bit more. Zach Pop's an interesting name to throw in there. I mean, he's probably going to start the season in the bullpen, but he's had a horrible past couple years. Kevin Gausman, great. And when it comes to John Schneider and kind of the Jays' changes, he says on paper we're better. On batting order 1 through 9 is an open book right now, really. And I think, and it opens up a very interesting question. And you can see this tweet from Joshua. Funny thing, and Joshua says, I still don't think this version of the roster is better on paper than the one that started last season. It's better than the one that finished last season, of course. And this is extremely interesting because this is a big conversation now. I'm curious. Let me know down below. Do you think this roster starting this season on paper is better than last year? And you kind of go through some of the changes they made. The bullpen, I would say, is definitely better, even though last season, the Jays coming into it, were supposed to have one of the best bullpens in baseball. There wasn't really enough reliability there. You got Jeff Hoffman, you got Nick Sandlin. I think their bullpen's going to be solid, albeit you lost Jordan Romano. You get Jimmy Garcia back. But regarding the starting lineup, you added Andres Gimenez, which should give you 4-5 WAR. If he has a bit of a breakout year, can go all the way up to 6-7 WAR. So you have an upgraded second base. I would say that, compared to Davis Schneider. Shortstop, you have Bichette being healthy, which, I mean, similar to last season. Third base now, you have Ernie Clement, as opposed to last year, you had IKF. So I'm going to call that maybe a net even. I mean, I don't think really, maybe IKF's a little bit better, a little bit more reliable. You have Vlad at first, you have Anthony Santander, and now you have, of course, Dalton Varsho and George Springer. So, I guess you had Justin Turner last year starting the season at third base. So I guess, IKF played shortstop, backup shortstop, and played with outfield. So I guess, Justin Turner was at third base. Do you think that team is better last year than this year? I definitely give the edge to this year. You have a power hitter in Anthony Santander. You have a guy in Andres Gimenez who should have had a bunch of value as well. And again, Justin Turner started third base last season, not IKF, but IKF slid there once Turner got traded and slid there for a little bit anyway. So let me know down below on that part. Very interesting, and it definitely sparks some room for debate here. But something that's more important at this moment is we get to see Max Scherzer. We get the camera, the phone camera quality, Max Scherzer throwing pitches. Everybody was watching Max Scherzer pitch. And to see Max Scherzer in a Toronto Blue Jays uniform is not only exciting, it is electric. And he's 40 years old. Whether or not you think he's going to be a part of the team's future is up in the air. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we get to see, he's not going to play for the Jays beyond the season. He's probably going to retire. But we get to see Max Scherzer battle every single day in a Toronto Blue Jays uniform, which is super exciting. So a bunch of updates are coming out. One other thing, John Schneider said you can see Will Wagner playing some first base this season, getting some intel from Don Mattingly. We'll have a bunch of videos coming out covering a bunch of different avenues and how these things affect. But for now, a bunch of updates are dropping. We're going to keep you up to date with all the latest news. And if you're interested in the Alex Bregman thing, the Jays were actually never in on him. The Red Sox gave him 3 years, $120 that were deferred, and then some other teams gave him a higher offer, with the Tigers being the highest offer. But ladies and gentlemen, baseball is back. Vladdy's decision is going to be the biggest talking point over the next few days. We're going to keep you up to date with all the latest news. If you're interested in that, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on all this news. Cheers.